Grand Rising, everyone. So it is the end of the week again. Topic I want to talk about today is how we communicate, interact, and run our households as a woman and a man in the Black and brown community. So stay tuned. Okay, so this topic is very, very sensitive and is not going to be covered in one video. I don't want to make my usual hour-long video just to talk about it. So I'm going to break it down into sections, maybe a 3-parter, because as a family, right, in our community, there are a lot of parts that need some addressing, that need some attention, that I don't think as a whole community realize what's going on. A lot of us do, a lot of us don't, but we're going to get into it. Our family structure, right, is broken. It's been broken for a very long time. And what's going on, in my opinion, is that when you have a man and a woman, in my household is a man and a woman, right? And the households that I've been accustomed to has been a man and a woman. Now, when you bring two individuals together, remember I said that you're going to have a person who has their own shackles and baggage, and then you're going to have another person with their own shackles and baggage. And when you bring that together, you're going to have a whole lot of shackles and a whole lot of baggage. So it's best to come together when you're, one, not unbroken. You need to be able to learn how to fix yourself on the inside before you can get with somebody else and try to make something work, okay? 2, you should be like-minded. Similar ideas and ideals on how you want to live your life, how you want your relationship to look and feel, how you would want to raise your children if you have some, and if you want to have some in the future. You need to know these things. You have to lay down the groundwork so that y'all have a sturdy foundation when y'all moving forward into the relationship. A lot of people do not talk about these things. When two people meet, the guy and a girl, when you meet in these perfect people, these dream people, right? And I'm gonna come back to that. I'm actually gonna write that part down because I want to come back to that, because what happens is people live in their delusions, and then when reality kicks in, because reality is always stronger than a facade, so then when reality kicks in, they want to act like, oh, you're not the person I got with. So I'm gonna talk about that. So when you meet these people, you have to do the groundwork to lay a sturdy foundation. You have to be able to say, this is what a relationship looks like to me. This is what I'm expecting of you. And this is what you should expect of me. You got to tell people who you are, what you're capable of, what you're not capable of. And you got to be able to ask people who you getting with, well, what are you looking for in me? What are you looking for from me? And I'll let you know if I can do this, because it don't make no sense to waste time on somebody for years, months, or even weeks, when you could just save yourself that hassle. Okay, I don't even think that what you're expecting of me, I'm going to be able to give you right now, because that's not in me. And if you're not true to yourself to know that you can't live up to someone else's expectations, then you're going to be hit with a rude awakening, because then you're going to find that they're complaining, oh, you supposed to be doing this and you supposed to be doing that, or whatever. And then when you really just can't unattach yourself from somebody, you're going to find yourself saying these words, well, I'll try, I'm going to try and do better, I'm going to try and do this. But sis, bro, like, if it's not in you, if it's not part of your personality, then you're not going to be able to do that unless you really implement change within yourself. You have to know who you are and what makes you comfortable, what makes you happy. And if you don't know that yet, stop what you're doing. Understand that you need to do some work within yourself, and you need to let that person know respectfully, listen, I may love you, but I need to love myself first, and I need to find out who I am so I can present the best version of me to you, and you can let me know if this is somebody you want to kick it with. Otherwise, I got to move on and find my own, and find somebody who wants to accept me for me, because I now know who I am. do something like that. You owe it to yourself. You understand? So with women, especially us black and brown women, or I'm just gonna speak for brown women, black women. I'm gonna speak for us. I can't even do that. I don't even like speaking for other people. To be honest with you, I do not like speaking for other people. I'm going to say what I expected in general, and then what I've seen other women expect and what they got. And then I'm also going to explain what I've seen women talk about and think, because I don't have friends like that. Y'all know that. But I hear things, from other women, whether they're close to me or they're just strangers in the street. I listen. So women's roles in the household. So you have your traditional, right? You have you're going to cook, you're going to clean, you're going to provide a happy, stable home for your family, a good environment for your children to grow up in. You're going to be the backbone to your man. And you're going to just, keep house or whatever. If you are a working woman, then you're going to do all of that stuff. Plus you're going to work, right? Now, if you're a modern age woman, then you're going to be like, well, I'm going to work. And when I'm not working, I'll tend to the house. So what I get to is what I get to after I work. I'm going to set boundaries. Maybe you need to set some boundaries. I'm speaking to somebody who needs to hear this. Maybe you need to set some boundaries whereas you're working and you're taking care of house and home. But if you're with someone, right, if you're married or in a committed relationship with someone and they're living in your household, then you absolutely feel like they should pick up some of that slack when you can't do certain things, like pick up the kids, do the laundry or the dishes, cook a meal, or keep the house maintained until you can get home, tend to the kids or whatever. That's me. I feel like men and women should share the responsibility of the household, because if a woman has to work and she needs to be an independent individual outside of the household, then it is the man's job. If he is present and he's able, he should be willing to contribute to everything, because women, they get overwhelmed, they get stressed out, and then when it comes down to it, when you're not helping alleviate some of that workload, and it's like, and I gotta work, you're gonna get hit with, well, what are you here for? What do I need you for? I could do better all by myself. Now, women, we tend to be resentful a lot of the times, because it's like, I don't think we want to suffer alone. It's like, either make me happy or kick rocks. So that comes with patience and communication. You have to be able to communicate with your partner. If you cannot communicate with your partner, you're going to be having problems, definitely problems, because the way women are conditioned, especially African American women, I use that term very loosely, just because of my beliefs and my thoughts on who the black woman is in America. But African American women were fed in these ideas and these concepts, and then we were reinforced through television and magazines and radio and things like that. And the government, a big ass factor, the government helped condition us to think that we can do this on our own. Now, I'm not saying, and I'm not taking anything away from us females, that we can't do it on our own, because we absolutely can. However, what I'm saying is, if there's two parts to a whole, then you need to utilize those two parts. Without the second part, and you trying to run a house with children, you're going to start to become broken. You understand? Your children are going to start to become broken. You will get worn down. One thing about family structure is that saying, it takes a village to raise a child, is not just some old folktale saying. It does take a village to raise a child, because a child needs multiple people in their life to teach them certain things, different things. You can't learn everything from one person, because one person don't have the answers to everything. Does that make sense? One person does not have the answers to everything. So you do need the mama and the papa and the auntie and the uncle and the grandpa and the grandma and the best friend that comes over sometimes to spread a little joy in the chaos. Like, you need people who genuinely care about one another as a group, as a unit, to feel nourished. You have to feed your family, not just food. You understand? It's mentally, and it's spiritually, and it's emotionally. It's not just, be there, because even people who's physically there cannot be there. They can be checked out mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So you need all of the townspeople, all of the townswomen, all of the townsmen, to get together and help raise up your family. This is the reason why we feel more comfortable at family reunions. We may not be able to stand at people, but we like going, because when you get a sense of community, when you get a sense of belonging, when you are able to go to certain people and feel validated as a person, then it helps your morale, it helps your spirit, you growing, your soul glows. It's amazing. So women, our roles are to nurture, right? We have to nurture. And if nobody ever told you, and this is just my opinion, so if you never heard it, you're hearing it now. Women birth the nations. I don't see men giving birth to any children. Do you? We birth the men and the women. We birth them. Now, yeah, this may go outside of genetics and what the scientists tell us, you know, about the DNA, the chromosomes, and who contributes to the female, who contributes to the men. I don't care about that. I really don't. Because until a man can birth a child and raise a child and have the capability of nurturing that child the way a female does, then I don't want to hear that. A woman births the nation. There's a saying by Miss Ayanna Vanzan who said that men are who their mothers make them. And definitely women, we upbring and raise our daughters in a sense of how we are as women, because that's where they get it from. You know, it passes down from female to female. And also role models to other women. Women look to other women for guidance. They don't look to men for guidance. When a woman looks for a man for guidance, she is lost. You cannot look for a man for guidance. I mean, there are certain special circumstances where a woman, a little girl is raised by her father or grandfather or uncle or whatever, because she doesn't have anybody else. So her authority, guardian, male figure, whatever in her life is that man. However, she still looks for guidance from a woman. Only a woman can raise a woman. Period. You can upbring a woman if you are a man. You can upbring her to give her values from a man's standpoint, but you can't give her what a woman can give her. This is why the village is so important, because if a mother is absent, then you have grandma, you have auntie, you have best friend, you have sis. You have these people to help fill in and infiltrate where she would be lacking. Now, some women feel that black men betray us. That's what they feel. I'm not against interracial relationships. I'm not. My bloodline, as of recent, maybe 3-4 generations ago, is a product of interracial relationships. Okay? I am African American woman. I do have traces of Indian in me as well, because my great grandmother, she was white and Indian on my mother's side, and then on my father's side I have Indian and black, right? So I do have those traits in me. So I have the white, the Indian, the black. That's like most African American women lineages today. Most of them, right? But you really won't know until you get your whole 23andMe chromosomes test or whatever, or my DNA test or whatever, to find out where your bloodline can be traced to. But it's all over the place. It's not just one place. But as a culture, as a black culture, it annoys a lot of women to see our black men go to other races of women. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm going to give my opinion. It's annoying because it's like, us black women, we want our black men. Okay, we don't necessarily see y'all all as, oh, you're bad, you're not going to amount to anything or whatever. And those who do, you need to change your mindset, honey, because he is only a product of, one, who raised him, and two, his circumstantial surroundings. Where you live does impact on who you become, unless your mindset is strong enough to overcome that. Unless your spirit is strong enough to overcome what you have been through as a child, and then what you're going through outside the home, to say, I'm going to become more than that. But sometimes, Black men do not get nurtured the way they need to be nurtured. Therefore, they are broken. And what they give you is broken pieces. And because we are so unforgiving, we're so unforgiving, what happens? Well, I don't need you, and you know what? You ain't nothing, you ain't shit, you ain't this, you ain't that, get out, blah, 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 go do this, kick rocks. Like, you make a dude want to literally just like, you have to be understanding. If what he's doing and how he's living his life is not working for you, then you let that be known and you respectfully part ways. But always support our Black men, because that's what they need. They need to be supported. All of us Black women don't have it all. So we raising up our Black men. We raising our sons to be a man to another woman. You understand? Don't make excuses. If you did not give your son something and then you think that he's some upstanding man, but then he turns around, he's hitting females or disrespecting females, or he's a womanizer running through freaking females like boxes in a week, that's your fault. It is. It's his upbringing. And you have a major part in that. Teach your son better. Period. And it starts today. Teach your son better. Start feeding him what he needs. It's not just giving him food. It's not just giving him water. Feed him knowledge. Feed him emotional and spiritual support. You need to feed him, nurture him, so that he can become a better person. Because you know what, sis? If you don't, your son may have some issues that you have no clue what they are. And then they're going to manifest into his actions. And then he's going to become a product of what you made him to be. So you gotta do better. Keisha Cole's song, You Can't Raise a Man. You can't raise a man as a grown woman. You just can't. I mean, his mother is going to have a major influential part in it, especially if she can go back and try to rectify some of the shit that she done implanted in him. However, us being counterparts to our men, to our equal men, we need to stop doing this. Stop doing that. Stop pointing a finger. Because it's not his fault. It's not. I look at a man and I had to stop asking what's wrong with you and start asking what happened to you. Why are you this way? And when you start to understand, then you can actually communicate, and if he's willing to hear, if he's willing to listen, then you can actually penetrate whatever bad behavior was learned so that he can start to deconstruct himself and try to work on himself. You have to be compassionate. If you won't treat your son like that, don't treat the next man like that, because your son is the next man. The next man, it was somebody's son. It's somebody's son. So be compassionate and understand your role as a woman, as a Black woman to our Black men. Because when you start pushing, condemning, and you treat him in a way that he can't get with, guess what? He's going to jump ship. He's going to go to somebody else who can treat him the way he wants to be treated. And because it's a cultural thing, we feel like we have more of a right to say you not shit, a right to say do better or whatever. Help him do better, because you know what, all the other races is willing to take on this man and say, I'm going to show you how to do better, I'm going to show you what to do, I'm going to give you an easier time, I'm going to be compassionate, love me, help me. And our men are kings. I'm telling y'all, they're gods. And you letting them walk away. Don't let them walk away. They are gods. And you may not understand this, and you may not be feeling what I'm saying, because you know what, sis, you're broken. You are broken. You don't have it all together. Because if you did, you would be able to be forgiven for yourself, therefore allowing you to be forgiven to the next person. And because you are not, no matter how much you try to lie to yourself and say that you love yourself, you respect yourself, you care about yourself is number one, why you can't give that same energy that you have on the inside and spread that outward? You understand? Because, as I mentioned before, I made a statement. I said, my son is my father. My father is my son. My brother is my son. That next man over there across the street, he's my son. It was my job, is my job, to make sure he get what he need. We are the only culture that can nurture the next man. It's no reason why we can't say hello back. And if a man respects you, why meet him with aggression instead of saying, now ask yourself, did that seem right to you? Are you treating me with respect? Do you want me to treat you with respect? So instead of saying, what's up, Mom? That's not my name. Why don't you step to me and approach me on a dignified manner and say, excuse me, miss, what's your name? How are you doing? I think you look lovely today. Have a good day. Something like that. We have to teach them, because if we don't teach them, they will not learn. Therefore, they will stay stagnant. A stagnant body dies. Our men are dying. And it's not just because the cops is killing us in the streets. Us, yes, us, our culture. It's not because the cops is killing us in the streets. It's because we're not taking care of one another. We're not growing as a whole. We have a lot of loose ends, so they trying to cut us off. What I know, I'm willing to share to the next person. I'm willing to share with you so that you can grow, so that you could be better. Because when you are better on the inside, when you know better, you do better, you be better, everybody needs to get up on that same concept. Learn, know, be, and do something different than what you have been doing. I fear for my sons every day when they step out in these streets because of ignorant people who do not understand them. They're not meant to understand our culture, our black men, our black boys. They're not meant to. We weren't meant to understand them. We have to raise them. And if you don't understand your son, if you say, I don't understand why that boy do that, you're doing something wrong. Because it's your job to figure it out. And if it's something wrong, something that could potentially grow into something that can kill him or get him killed later, you need to correct it. It's not okay for your boys to be throwing temper tantrums. It's not okay for your boys to be hitting their sisters. It's not okay for your boys to be talking back to you. Teach them respect, teach them love, teach them honor. All the good values of how you want to be treated as a woman, you have to teach them that. Can't no man teach them that. No man can teach them that. I'm sorry. They can't. They can tell them about it. But as you being the mom, the sister, the auntie, any female positive role model in a little boy's life, you have to teach them how to treat a woman, how to treat themselves. We have to nurture our black men, our culture. That's our role. Then everything else becomes superficial. When you become part of a household, everybody has defined roles. You know, don't take on that stereotypical a woman's place is in the home, and kings, gods. Don't think that a woman's place is in the home. If that's where she wants to be, then that's her role. That's her place. Okay? If she signs up with you and say, oh yeah, we're going to have a family, we're going to have babies, I'm going to stay home and cook and clean and all this other stuff, and I don't want you to do nothing but work, that's your role. Communication. Y'all have clear defined roles, so therefore it should be no crossing, no mixed signals. It should be no, oh, I thought you was going to do it type of thing, unless it was asked. But don't just go into something and assume that that's what it's supposed to be. Our ideas of what family structure is not what we were designed to live by. I, for one, think black people, we need community. I already said that. But we live off of that energy of working together. We live off that energy of being positive, getting stuff accomplished. That's what we live and strive off of. That's what feeds our spirit, our energy. When we're not in unity with one another, we break down, because it's foreign to us. It's foreign to us. Now, what works for other cultures is other cultures. We're the only culture who ain't got the shit together. There's no rule book or a handbook or whatever. We were taken from different places or whatever, and we were told, act this way, speak this way, dress this way. So we already redefined how we want to dress and expressing ourselves. You know, our braids is part of who we were. It wasn't something that was taught to us by our oppressors, was it? They didn't say, oh yeah, put these braids in your hair and define yourself. No. It was something on the inside of us who said, bring braids back. And I don't believe it came from Africa either. No, I don't. I really don't. A lot of what black people come up with is purely original. It's not, oh, I went to Africa, now I'm inspired. No, that's not it. Black culture, black people, we are very creative. We are so intelligent, but we block our blessings because we don't know how to get it together. Structure is key. Organization is key. You have to be able to know the difference between coming together and congregating for the better cause and then coming together and congregating for some damn drama. Pick and choose where you're going to spread your energy. Period. So before I get back to the women, let me touch up on the men. Men, I understand that y'all don't have it together because your mothers failed you, because your aunties failed you, because your older sister failed you, because you didn't get what you needed to get from the woman to show you how to do things better. And if you're in a bad place right now, and you don't even know how to survive, then you definitely didn't get what you needed to get from your father. I can't apologize for the men. The men gotta apologize to themselves. Because if you see a brother doing bad, why you not stopping and be like, yo, bro, how can I help you? Peace, blessings, King, God, how can I help you? Instead, you looking with the side eye. Instead, you trying to guard your female like, oh, this mine, my precious, get away. Like, come on. Like, if y'all can get together and smoke and drink all day, do y'all politic? Do y'all talk about business? Do y'all implement change? Are y'all asking yourselves how you feeling today? Like, understand that as a whole, you have both parts. You have a feminine side and you have a masculine side. Yes, it's true, men have more masculine side, but don't condemn the brother who has a more feminine side because he's still a brother. He's still a brother. Men need men in their life. They need to be raised by men. They need to be taught by men. They need to be guided by men. Men guide other men through the jungle. Women nurture them. Okay? You have to feed the culture. You have to feed them. We need structure. So men, raise your sons. Raise your sons. Raise your daughters. The mother cannot do all by herself. I commend those who are out there, and even though you have multiple children with different women, if you still present in all of their lives, then you know your role, you know your part, but you can be doing more. You can be doing more because you always can do more. Don't think, oh, I've done enough. It's nothing I can do. No, that's a choice that you choose to make. That's what you're telling yourself. You need to wake up and snap out of that because you can be doing more. Our sons and our daughters are out here dying because they don't know how to survive in the world. They need to learn from you how to survive in this world. And if you don't know, then you need to learn. You need to learn. Go to your elder. How can I be better? I look at you as a role model. Tell me your story so that I can feed off of that and I can grow what I got going on with myself. Our mouths stay shut. I said this in the last video. You need to open your mouth. You need to speak and ask. And if you don't have nobody, kings and queens, gods and goddesses, you need to open your spirit. You need to open that up. Pray, do affirmations, meditate, whatever it is that's in your religion, in your faith, whatever it is, you need to open that up and accept guidance from the higher power because it's there. But you're blocking it because you're too involved in this earthly shit. You're too involved. There is no manual that tells you, meaning can't nobody else tell you exactly what to do. That's divinity. You're going to make some mistakes, you correct them, but you have to be able to see and own it. You have to be able to see and own what mistakes that you made. If any of y'all are abusing substances right now, understand that is merely a condition, a side effect of something deeper. Try to figure that out. Because when you have things that unattach you and turn you off from reality, you're not growing. And you're saying that you don't want to grow because you rather get high, you rather smoke and get drunk, you rather do anything, exploit yourself with sex, whatever your addiction is, you rather do these things in order to not deal. You're running away. That's a shackle. Don't run away. Deal with your mess. And it'll make you a better person. You know, you're not breathing. You're not surviving. So I can't really speak too much on men because I'm not a man. That's a conversation I plan on having with somebody later on, maybe in part 3, just to reiterate on some of the stuff that I'm going to be saying in part 1 and part 2. Hell, it may even be a part 4. I don't know, because like I said, this is a big and deep topic and subject, and I'm passionate about it because I feel like I fell between the cracks because my community, my culture is broken. And when you broken, you're going to have a lot of cracks and you're going to fall right into it. And there's nobody there to catch you. Now, when I was growing up, when I was little, I was born in the 80s. So when I was growing up, there was more of a sense of community. Kids were able to just play outside and be kids. And people watched out for your child. You know, people were like that. Going back, it was more community. But the drugs and the government infiltrated. There's an agenda for everything. I don't care what you say. There's an agenda for everything. It has to be control and order someplace, somewhere for somebody to win. Now, the reason why we're losing is because we don't have control, we don't have order, and it's not something that's just going to be allowed. We have to fight for it. Physically fight? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we have to fight for it. We have to communicate, congregate, and change as a culture, as a community. Okay? I am not my sister's keeper. I am my sister. You are not your brother's keeper. You are your brother. Treat me with respect and I'll do you. Treat me with love. Show me love and I'll do you. Okay? Show me the way and I'll show you. Hand in hand, we can do this together. I was just telling my children, my daughter had asked me, oh, mommy, if there was a fire in the building, would you rely on the shoestring to like get you out of harm's way and go out the window? I said, no, I won't rely on no one shoestring. I'm not doing that. I said, I'll fall. I said, I'd rather find another way out than rely on one shoestring. And that's how we think as a culture. I'm not going to rely on just one person. I don't trust just one person. We need to reestablish trust. But she said, no, I mean a lot of shoestrings. I said, well, if it's a lot of shoestrings put together, then yeah, because it would be reinforced. I'll do that. I said, some people escape out of windows and stuff like that by tying bed sheets together, by tying a whole bunch of toilet paper together. I seen a story where some men escaped from prison, and they escaped from prison by taking a whole bunch of toilet paper and making a rope with it. I'm like, how the hell they do that? Because they use so much, and they binded it together that it strengthens the rope of toilet paper, of paper, that it can support their weight. Now, there's no way we can have oppressors if they can't conquer and divide, if they can't divide and conquer. There's no way we will allow outsiders to come in. Outsiders in a sense that they don't mean us to grow. They don't mean for us to find each other. They don't mean for us to prosper, right? Outsiders. There's no way for them to come in and break us up if we're united, okay? Maybe weak as one, but as many as a whole, there's no way we can't withstand a blow. There's no way that we can't stand against it. All right? We have to come together as a whole. We have to be able to establish trust, and we have to be able to communicate, and we have to be able to be aware. We have to be able to feed one another. I'm just seeing too many people, and you know what kills people besides your regular heart attacks and high blood pressure and stuff like that in our community is the fact that we're broken. It's the fact that we feel alone. It's the fact that we walk around with sadness. And you should be able to look at somebody in the eyes and see that it's not right. Something's not right in their world. You should be able to look at somebody and feel their energy because you just that connected. You have to open yourself up. You have to open yourself up. A black woman and a black man's love is powerful. It's so powerful. Now, does that mean that the relationship you in wasn't meant to be? Maybe. Don't mean that there's not another black man that can serve you, or there's not another black woman that can serve you. Be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. Look within yourself and say what it is that I need and what it is that I want right now. Can I grow with this person who's sitting beside me? Are they feeding me what I need? Let me communicate these things so that we're on the same page. And if we can't get on the same page, let us be mature enough to say that, okay, I'm going to go my separate way. He's going to go his separate way. She's going to go her separate way. But we know our responsibility is to always love, honor, and cherish our children by respecting one another and giving each other the support that they need, the support that each other need in order to make sure that their spirit is left intact, that they're not broken. Because if you leave a woman heartbroken, she's going to give broken pieces to her child, your child. And then your kid is going to have issues. Do you want your kid to have issues? And if you honestly don't care about what I am saying, if you honestly don't care what I'm saying, then you have to look in yourself and say, who broke your heart? Who left you? Who told you and showed you that it was okay to leave? Who told you and showed you that it was okay to break mommy and leave? Who told you and showed you that it was okay to not expect better from yourself? Because you know what, black men? When you disrespect her, you disrespect yourself. You disrespect your mother. You disrespect somebody's sister. You disrespect somebody's auntie, somebody's grandmother. Do better. Understand who you are. Understand who we are. We're one whole, just in two different entities, because we were meant to be together. Okay? We were meant to uplift each other, fix our crowns. Now, I wasn't always on that time. I had to learn and I had to see, because I had to fix what was inside of me. I am royalty on this earth. I am a goddess beyond this realm. Like, I recognize me. I am who I am, and can't nobody tell me otherwise. Treat me with respect, because I'm not going to accept anything different. Not anymore. Not anymore. And neither should you. You are a king. So what if you slinging drugs on the street right now? You are a king. So what if you didn't finish high school? You are a king. Start to understand that so that you can elevate your spirit to God status. Change how you greet one another. Not, what's up, my nigga? Not, oh yeah, I'm about to go meet my bitch. Nah. Words have power. Words have power. And I don't care if you want to take on this notion that, oh, we reclaimed the word and nigga don't mean what it's supposed to, what it did back in the day. We reclaimed our power. No, nigga is still nigga. Nigga is still an oppression. It's still a negative word used to describe an ignorant black person. Period. You use that word, you enslaving yourself all over again. Free yourself. Creative. You can come up with a whole new word to show endearment. It ain't gotta be nigga and bitch. It don't have to be. I don't even allow those words in my house. Now, am I guilty of saying certain things when the songs come on? Yeah, I am. I'm trying to get out of that. But I love me some Cardi B. And I be quick to repeat word for word. But does that make it right? No. And I'm not intentionally calling anybody that. I'm not calling myself that. I'm merely repeating words. But like I said, words have power. So you got to learn to change certain things. Do not listen to certain things. Why? Because what you listen to, what you see, goes along with what you eat. It goes along with what you wear. It goes along with anything that you're feeding into your body. Your body is a receptor. It receives everything through any kind of way, touch, sound, smell, whatever. It receives. So you can't watch TV and see certain things and think that it doesn't affect you, because it does. For example, I don't have cable. I don't watch TV like that. I actually stream everything I watch, so I get to choose what I want to watch. And the type of person that I am, I like to watch a lot of educational stuff, so I'll watch Nature Channel. I love cartoons, certain kinds of cartoons, because not all cartoons are the same, especially the stuff that's out here for these kids today. I question it a lot. It has some real inappropriate concepts in it. And I watch documentaries about certain things. Influential people I watch. I didn't change what's on my social media accounts because I didn't like what I was seeing. I didn't like the ratchetness. I didn't like the ugliness. I didn't like the death, the violence. I didn't like none of that stuff. So I started to change what I was watching, what I was reading, what I was feeding into my mind and in my body, because it didn't feel right and it made me feel ugly. And subconsciously you putting this in your body and stuff like that, and then you start acting and saying certain kinds of things that you wasn't doing before. It's because you're being manipulated. That's what media does. Media manipulates you. they program you to do and act certain kinds of things that goes against your better nature. So you need to learn how to separate and tune that off. Get in touch with yourself so that you can get in touch with other people, because you know what? Media ain't it. It is not it. It's not it. Okay. I was at my aunt's house yesterday and I was doing her hair, and she was watching a television show, television programming. Now, I'm not telling people what to do. These is just my opinions, and I say that all the time. This is just me. It's based on me. But I feel like some of what I go through can benefit and relatable, and it is relatable to somebody else. Okay? And in between the show content were ads. Every other ad was get vaccinated, get vaccinated, get vaccinated. Now, when I watch television, because I'm streaming what I want to watch, I don't get those ads. I don't see get COVID tested, get vaccinated and stuff like that. Doesn't mean I'm not aware of what's going on in the world. It's just that I already made up my mind based off how I feel and the research that I've done. You understand? I am not getting vaccinated. I do not support the vaccination. I think there's something really wrong with that. I really do. And I'm not easily persuaded because they're not in my head programming me, get vaccinated, get vaccinated. Now, I had to correct some stuff that was going on in my kids' school, because first week they was coming back, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that unless I'm vaccinated. Don't let these teachers who were told they had to get vaccinated to tell you to get vaccinated. They're only telling you, your child, and trying to program them based off what their job is requiring. Now, to me, when people do things for the love of money, like, oh, I need this job because I need to pay my bills, find another job. Better yet, become your own boss. It's not hard. It really isn't. There's something for everybody that somebody needs and that you can make money off of, period. Period. You love to teach? Start a YouTube channel. Develop ebooks and courses. You can teach that way and make a living. Like, I really don't get it. I really don't get it. I can't mess with this government. I'm going to tell y'all all the time, I just can't mess with it. I do not like the U.S. government. It does not serve us. It programs us. And when we get out of pocket, they try to destroy us, period. It's all according to their plan. So what is yours? That was just a sidebar. Now, relationships. What works for one couple may not work for another. So when it comes down to like men cheating, women cheating, right? Some people is okay, like, oh, I don't care, they're gonna go out and do their dirt just as long as they don't bring back nothing, talk about venereal diseases or a baby, you know. But if that's what you're willing to accept, because you're that comfortable with yourself that you know what his or her extracurricular activities outside your relationship is not going to break you, and you are allowing it as your partner, you're allowing that type of behavior against you, then okay, that's what you accept. You know, some women and men, they have other people join them in the bedroom. You know, if that's okay with y'all, if that's what y'all accept, then that's what y'all accept. There's no written rule of our culture as of yet on what is considered right and wrong in the dynamics of a relationship. So because we adopted somebody else's cultural standpoints and views, especially like the oppressors who enslaved black and brown people, they're saying, be with one person. They weren't even with one person. They wasn't with their wife. Who they was with? They was with the slave out in the back. That's why we had a lot of fair-skinned slaves running around, because master was dipping and diving into his stock. That's what he was doing. So there's no such thing as being with one person. It's all preference. So if people's okay having one man who has multiple women, or if people was okay with, okay, this is my woman, we have something going on, but she likes to be with Tom, Dick, and Harry or whatever. If that's okay with you, then that's okay with you. But you got to understand that is what works for y'all. It's not what works for everybody else. So if Shaniqua and Thomas, got a thing going and it's strictly just them, and they're happy, and his friend Bobby is like, yo, I got the shorty, and we about to have a threesome, then Thomas is not going to be bothered because Thomas is not down with that. Like, yo, rock out, dude. I'm good with where I'm at. Don't try to persuade Thomas to have a threesome like that's the life of the party. Different things work for different people. You understand? And if what works for you in your relationship is what works for you, then that's fine. Just as long as this is intact, this is unbothered, then y'all should be good and y'all able to communicate. You got to have communication, So in the beginning, when you meet her, in the beginning, when you meet him, you let it be known, listen, I like girls who like girls. And she could be like, well, I like dudes who like dudes. I don't know how likely that is, but I'm just saying what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. You know what I mean? You can't be a hypocrite. You can't say, oh, yeah, I'm going to go step out, but it wasn't based off emotional. It's just my physical needs weren't being met, but I want to come back and just be with only you. That's not true, dude. Like, you don't want to just be with her. You want to be with somebody else. You want to be with anybody else, but you still want to keep her. You want her to be the main girl, and you want to be, you want to have some other options just in case she's not fulfilling you in that way. Be honest. Speak about your past, so that she know what kind of person you are. It be traps that we set for each other. We talk about what we want, we talk about what we like, but we don't talk about the bad stuff. Oh, tell me about your last relationship. Why y'all broke up? Be honest. We broke up because she couldn't deal with the fact that I kept being with other women. You don't have to call it cheating. It's only cheating when you make a commitment to somebody and then you break that commitment. You break that vow. That's when it's cheating. Or you lay that foundation when y'all decided to be serious and say, well, I'm not going to be with nobody else and I don't want you to be with anybody else. Is that okay with you? And if she say yeah or he say yeah, however the relationship is, then that's the dynamics of the relationship. Then you can call it cheating if they step outside with somebody else after y'all already established that it wasn't going to be anybody else. But if he can honestly say, I want to be with only you, but I'm going to tell you right now it might be hard because I'm the type of person with old habits that I have not broken yet. And I did in the past on my main women, I did step out and have women on the side because I wasn't getting what I needed from my main woman. So then you leaving dialogue open for her to ask you, well, what is it that you need? And I'll let you know if I can live up to that expectation, if I can give you what you need, or if I'm not with it, then y'all can just be friends. Y'all can even be friends with it. I don't know. I don't care. But all I'm saying is communicate, because without proper communication, we will break down. Communication is key. You got to communicate, Once you figure out who this is, then you can be with somebody else. When you with somebody else, let them know what this is, who this is, what's in here, what you've been through, so they can get a general idea of what they're dealing with and if they can handle the workload, okay? Because it is work to be with somebody else. You have to constantly work on it because things can get boring. And people who have ADD in relationships, ADD relational ADD, I'm gonna put it that way, relational ADD, they may want to skedaddle, get entertained and come back, and that may not be okay with you. So you gotta get your roles right. You gotta figure out the dynamics of the relationship. You have to be honest with yourself, so that you can be honest with other people, okay? Because when you're a team, in order to be a team, there should be no secrets. There should be no codes. If there's codes and secrets, it should be against the outsiders, and only y'all know what y'all talking about. That's powerful. You have a certain code of conduct, or you have a certain word or your own language on how y'all speak, because can't nobody infiltrate what y'all got. Y'all develop that. That's what's up. You know what I mean? So I wanted to touch up real quick before I end this video on people of each other's dreams, right? Oh, my dream girl, my dream guy. When you start to impose your delusions or your wants and beliefs onto somebody else, right? Not saying your wants and beliefs is delusions. I'm sorry, I'm hot, y'all. I'm sitting in this car. I turned it off. The windows is cracked because I'm in a very noisy area. But when you say, I want this type of guy and I want this type of personality traits in them, and I want them to embody these characteristic traits, and I want them to have a nice job and drive a nice car and a whole bunch of money, and I want them to take care of me, blah, 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 blah. When you get to somebody who meets some of those criteria, you're automatically going to start thinking that they can meet all of the other criteria. But if they didn't come to you with all boxes checked, what makes you think that they're going to get checked just because you're with them? So if somebody does not embody everything that you are already after, then you're going to be met with disappointment. And don't try to put your wants and desires as clothing onto that person, because it may not fit. Maybe too tight or too big. So you have to either accept the person for who they are and learn to love them how they are if it works for you, or you need to be real with yourself and say, this is not the type of person that I saw myself with, and I am not happy, and let them go. Stop trying to force a circle into a square. Stop trying to force a star into a triangle. It's just not going to work, people. Well, technically you can put a circle into a square depending on the size of the box, but you can't fit certain shapes into one another is what I'm saying. That's my point, because some of y'all like to be literally and politically correct. But what I'm saying is that don't try to force somebody to be something that they not. If they're not doing it, you can speak about it. And if they say, I'm trying to do that or whatever, and you're okay with that, then fine, communicate. But if you're waiting to see when the other shoe is going to drop, like, when are you going to do this? And when are you going to do that? I told you what I wanted and you're not doing it. That's not who they are. Realize that and accept that. That's not who they are. And if you're met with, I'm trying and that's not me, when somebody tells you about themselves, don't say, no, that's not true because I see. No, you don't see. You see what you want to see. When somebody tells you this is who they are, believe them. They telling you this is who they are. That's like saying, somebody's telling you, your spouse saying, I like ice cream. What flavor you like? I like strawberry. You don't like strawberry. You like vanilla. No, I like strawberry. You don't like strawberry. You like vanilla. They telling you what they like. How are you going to tell them what they don't like? That's just a simple example. Like, stop trying to tell people who they are if they telling you themselves who they are. Stop saying, I know you better than you know yourself. Because you don't. Period. Stop saying, you think you know yourself. That's funny. Like, stop putting people down. Accept them for who they are, whether they flawed or not. Whether you think that they know better or not. Like, stop telling people who they are. They telling you who they are. And when you need to hear it, you will hear it. If you don't want to hear it, then you're not going to hear it because you're not listening. But you need to understand that people are going to be who people are going to be, and everybody go through stages. And because people are underdeveloped, there's a lot of underdeveloped people out here. Because people are underdeveloped and they don't know how to act, and they don't even realize, like, they're not even conscious about their behavior. They're not even conscious that they're hurting on the inside. They're not even conscious about that traumatic experience that happened so long ago when they was kids or teenagers that scarred them, that they buried it and is manifesting in their behaviors, whether that's low self-esteem, or they just don't have the proper motivation, or they just feel like they're inadequate. Something happened to them. It would be beneficial if everybody can do some type of therapy, whether that's going to a professional for real deep-rooted issues, because a therapist can help you start to see certain things, because they're going to ask you about your past and you can start digging, but they don't take you deep enough. That's something you have to do on your own, because that's under lock and key and only you have the permission to go up in there. I'm telling you, because I did it. So you have to start thinking and understanding and putting a magnifying glass on everything that happened to you as a kid, as a teenager, anything before adulthood, before you started actually living your life and implementing these actions that got you to where you at today. Because your base foundation does affect your future relationship. It does affect your children. So you owe it to yourself to get some therapy. It's not taboo. It's needed. And it might be best to get therapy from people who are of the same ethnic background for you, because of the cultural relatability. I have a therapist. She's a Caucasian woman, I think. And I think she's pretty good, but there's certain areas I would not divulge with her, because I don't feel, and that's just me being judgmental, I don't feel like she would properly understand where I'm coming from, because she's of a different nationality and cultural. So when it comes down to really opening up, I did have a therapist who was a Black woman. Now, I felt really connected to her, and I was heartbroken when she left, but that was my attachment issues. That was my attachment issue. So when she left and I had to find somebody else, like, helps when you're really with somebody and you can relate to them and they can relate to you and give you the best advice based off our culture, because only we know what we go through. Only we know what we go. It doesn't matter if your spouse is right or not. You growing up as a black boy or as a black girl and your spouse is of a different culture, they cannot completely understand what it is that you went through. Unless y'all just completely took out, unless y'all completely took that card out, like, oh, there's no race card, we're all people up in here. Okay, if that's what you want to tell yourself, that's fine. But there's a part of you that belongs to the culture. And a culture is part of your identity. And if you refuse to accept and recognize your culture, then you're refusing and choosing not to accept part of your identity, because you are a black man and a black woman in a society who don't condone or encourage your community. We have to do that within ourselves. We need more black businesses. We need to develop more trust, because we can win as a whole. Like I'm trying to tell y'all, we are gods. We are kings and queens earthbound, but we are gods spiritually. Our purpose is to rise up, and we keep getting knocked down. We will always rise up because it's in our DNA, baby. It's in our DNA. And that's not on some, oh, I'm black and I'm proud mess. No, it's just me knowing who I am. It's me knowing who I am. And I see y'all out here. And it breaks my heart when I see somebody all up in their face. They're broken. They're sad. They trying to survive. But you gotta want more. Don't try to survive. You have to live and thrive. The only way to do that is to clear out all your mess, stop being blocked, and work together, because you need her. Sis, you need him. Whether that's your man, your brother, your father, your uncle, grandfather, whoever, you need him. And we need to nurture them. They will help lead us to where we need to be. But without us uplifting them, we're not going anywhere. Because think about it. What's the main focus out here in these streets, in the media? Black men, right? Black men this, black men that, black men. And they have such a negative stereotype, such a negative label. But you know what? Not all of them are like that. Not all of them are like that. Because there's a lot of you who say, oh, my daddy was a great man. Or is a great man. My daddy was there for me. My uncle always there for me, blah, 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 blah. Even if that's just the one part of him that he gives to you, it's a good thing. There are no bad people. It's just bad behaviors. You understand? And because they don't understand, it's not our problem. Our problem is that we need to understand ourselves, because we forgot. And therefore we're lost. What you feel on the inside is part of your community. You're not the only one. Start to fix you so you can help to start to fix other people. Spread the word, because words are powerful. It's our culture. It's how we come up with our own languages, why we come up with our own fashion, why we come up with our own styles of dance and music. Other people try to emulate, but they will never, ever understand. And we don't have to look for other cultures for answers. We are our own culture. We are kings. We are queens. We are gods. We don't need to emulate anyone. All eyes on us, baby. So you need to stand at attention, and you need to do what you got to do for you, and do what you have to do for your wife and your sister and your auntie and your grandmother and your mother, and make it right. And sis, you got to do what you got to do for your sons first and foremost, because your sons becomes the fathers, the brothers, the uncles, so on and so forth. Our hearts, our bodies is the starting point for life, period, in our culture and our community. Maybe even the whole damn world. Stop being used and start using what you know. Start acquiring knowledge and implementing what you need to uplift our brothers, our kings, our gods. Yourself first and foremost. Because when you're low, you're going to beget lower individuals. But when you're high, you're going to vibrate, and you're going to beget vibrating individuals. Get up on it. I'll catch you next time, guys, with part 2. where I get in the topic of the household and the children. I hope you enjoyed this. Please comment below, because like I said, this is going to be an ongoing segment. I plan on doing interviews, and I would love to get your feedback and questions and comments and concerns, whether it's good or bad, so that I can implement this into the video, but I need to know what you guys are thinking. Even if you are of a different background or culture, I would like to know what you are thinking, because I would like to address that, because you know what, it's time for change, and change starts with communication. So if nobody told you today, let me be the first one to say it. I love you. You matter so much. I hope you realize how much you matter, because you matter to me. And I want you to have value to yourself. And if you don't know what that means, then you got to do some soul searching and understand how valuable you are. You are a part of a whole, not just alone. And until next time, guys, peace and blessings to all my kings, my queens, and my gods.